I see it all the time. Whether it's my clients, my friends, or myself, we are constantly putting other people's needs and feelings above our own. And by we, I mean both men and women, but especially women. We make sure everyone else is okay, leaving our own happiness on the back burner. At the end of the day, I firmly believe that our own individual happiness should be a top priority. This will make it so much easier to help other people we care about. In this episode, I'm sharing why your happiness should be first priority and how to make sure you are putting yourself first without making other people feel neglected. Welcome to the City Girl Savings Podcast. I'm Rhea Reeves, founder and finance coach of City Girl Savings. I turned my life around with budgeting many years ago, and now I'm on a mission to help others do the same. I fully believe that you can enjoy your life on a budget, and this weekly show will focus on the intersection of money and the city girl lifestyle. Join me every week along with some special guests as I share my experiences, advice, and guidance on navigating life and money as an experience-loving millennial. I think it's fitting that we start with the most important piece, which is you and your happiness. Here is why your happiness should be first priority. First and foremost, we can't help others until we help ourselves. And this goes for emotionally, financially, physically helping others. If we are not in a place to give emotionally, it's only going to hurt ourselves and it may hurt those that we are trying to help. Same goes for financial. If we are giving our last dollar to someone else, but we can't pay our own rent, that is a problem. And physically as well. We cannot help others until we help ourselves. So we have to make our own selves a priority. At the end of the day, we only have ourselves. If we can't love ourselves, if we can't make ourselves happy, how will anyone or anything else do it for us? For real, how? Now, when you feel like your cup is full and you can fill other people's cups and still have something left for yourself, there's no better feeling. My brother and I had previously talked about emotional bank accounts, and this basically looks like depositing into other people's emotional bank accounts and having deposits put in yours. How can you deposit into someone else's account when yours is empty? And we cannot overdraft on our emotions. I love this quote by Rupi Kaur, who said, "How you love yourself is how you teach others to love you." And it's so true. Do you want healthy relationships? Well, you need to have a healthy relationship with yourself. Do you want others to invest in you? You need to invest in yourself. Do you want to be treated with respect? You have to treat yourself with respect. How we treat ourselves, how we invest in ourselves, how we respect ourselves, how we trust ourselves, how we love ourselves is how other people will do those things for us, right? So if we are lacking confidence and we don't love ourselves, we are likely going to be in a relationship where we don't feel confident and we don't feel that love. People treat us how we treat ourselves. So if you want the best of the best and you deserve it, you have to treat yourself like you deserve it. Now, I think a common misconception about prioritizing your happiness means that you're selfish. And I really want to spend some time kind of breaking down selfish versus prioritizing self. It's very easy to feel like you're being selfish if you are prioritizing your happiness first, but after going through why it should be first, hopefully now you'll see it's actually not selfish. It helps you give more to others. Now, it's very easy to be called selfish for prioritizing yourself, and I feel like I resonate deeply with this. So When I was in college, I, had a close group of girlfriends, and I was constantly being called selfish by different sets of friends. So these aren't friends that were all kind of talking amongst themselves and they all came to the same conclusion together. These were individual groups of friends who would call me selfish. They would say, I only care about myself, or I'm only thinking about myself. And it wasn't true. Now, looking back, I definitely had an opportunity to communicate better, but I have always been a very one-track individual, meaning if I set my sights on something or if I'm working towards something, I get tunnel vision and I'm like laser focused on that thing. And that can come at the expense of other people's feelings. Mind you, though, other people need to be able to communicate their feelings, right? So while I had an opportunity to communicate better at the time, I could have shared that, hey, I'm really focused on this goal. This is my top priority. That may have made other people feel better, but I'm also not a mind reader, right? Like I didn't know that these different sets of friends were feeling this way. And until it bottled up and blew up, I had no idea. And so that is an opportunity to communicate better on both sides. I think another thing to think about too is if people call you selfish, it's probably because they aren't good at putting themselves first, which is why they think your behavior is selfish. And I don't believe it's your job or it was my job to change anyone's mind. But I do think there is an opportunity to share a different perspective. So I am not called selfish anymore because I'm much more self-aware these days. But if I could go back in time, I would definitely address those concerns my friends had a different way. I would definitely try to communicate where my head was at and also share that, hey, you can't put yourself first and it's okay. I'm not going to judge you for it. I'm not going to make you feel bad for it. And, if we can all focus on putting ourselves first and getting to where we want to go, we'll all be much happier for it. Got a money question you want me to answer on the podcast? I'm starting a new segment on the show called City Girl Solutions, where I answer any questions you have for me. Money, business, life, you name it. Submit your questions at citygirlsavings.com/QA and get your question answered by me in a future episode. And did you know that we have so many free money resources on our blog, Instagram, and TikTok channels? Find us across the internet at City Girl Savings. So, how do you prioritize your happiness first? If you are a people pleaser, if you are more concerned about appearing like you're not selfish, you may have put your own happiness on the back burner, and we got to work to change that. So I say you first assess where you may be prioritizing other people above yourself, whether this is romantic relationships, relationships with your family or friends. Just prioritize where you are putting others' needs above yourself. Don't make any drastic changes. Just be mindful, make note, keep it in mind. Next thing is to make time for the things that make you happy. So if you want to start prioritizing your happiness, do more of what makes you happy. Whatever that is, do more of it. Make time for it. And you can also prioritize your happiness by practicing self-care. And please include it in your budget, right? So whether that's getting your hair done, your nails done, your lashes like me, massages, going out with your friends, whatever self-care looks like to you, prioritize it and make sure it's in your budget. Another way to prioritize your happiness is to give yourself some uninterrupted time every week. Now, I'm not a mom, I don't have kids, so I would imagine it is much harder for moms to do this, but even if it's before your kids wake up or after they go to bed, make sure you are spending some time with yourself. If you don't have kids, but you live with a partner or, you run a business, you work around the clock. Give yourself uninterrupted time at least once a week. Doesn't have to be much, an hour, as much as you can find for yourself. Give yourself that time to just be with yourself and be okay with being with yourself. Another thing you can do is take yourself out, take yourself on a date, locally or on a trip. And a staycation, I am here for it. A staycation can be a great way for you to fill up your own cup without traveling very far. And the final way you can prioritize your own happiness is to work on your own goals, work towards those goals. Now, I'm not saying to be laser focused like I was and totally disregard everything around you, but moving in the direction of the things that matter to you is such an important way to prioritize yourself and your happiness. So we talked about how to prioritize yourself. Let's talk about how to avoid feeling guilty when you prioritize yourself and your happiness first. Going back to the people pleasers, I understand if you are starting to give yourself more undivided attention, give yourself your happiness some time, and the people around you are questioning that or saying, hey, why are you neglecting me? Or I don't see you anymore and we don't talk anymore. It's easy to feel guilty, but you can avoid those feelings by doing a few things. First, communicate. If you are getting questions from people about where you've been or, where your head is at, communicate. Just say that you are in this place where you are thinking about yourself and getting yourself to the happiest place you can be. And so that requires you to spend some time with yourself. The people who truly love you and care about you should have no issues with that, right? Your happiness should also mean something to them. Do not do what I did and be naive to the situation, right? Don't think that just because you are having the best of intentions working towards the things that matter to you, that the people around you don't deserve an explanation. They do. Definitely communicate. Another way to avoid the guilt is to still show up for others where you can, right? And I believe that there are certain relationships where you may need some boundaries, right? Depending on who you interact with, sometimes people's energies just don't mesh well, right? And some people's energies can kind of take and give, and it can be a lot. So still show up for others who matter to you when you can, where you can, but make sure that your own boundaries are set. And when those guilty thoughts creep in, because they probably will, remind yourself that in the end, it's only going to be you. You have to love yourself. And if you are communicating, if you are prioritizing your happiness and it's not at the true expense of someone else, it's okay. I want you to know that it's not easy to make the shift to prioritizing yourself first, or to make the shift to communicate when you maybe haven't been good with that. It's okay to be a work in progress. It's also okay to fill other people's cups up first. It's okay. Sometimes in certain seasons of your life, you may have to give a little bit more. It is okay. But on the flip side, when you need a little bit more, when you need to take a little bit more, it's also okay. Just make sure you give yourself the time you need to feel re-energized and rejuvenated so that when you do give to others, they and you are both in a place to receive. Thank you so much for tuning in to City Girl Savings today. I hope you feel empowered and inspired to master your money as you make your way to your dream life. Make sure you subscribe so you're the first to know when a new episode comes out. I truly value your thoughts and feedback, so please leave a review and let me know how this podcast has impacted you. Can't wait to chat soon and make it a great day.